On August 2nd, Simon was meant to be circumcised. But the event did not go as planned. In fear, he called for his parents' help and tried to run away. The act by a child, not yet in his teens, has changed life forever for his family. Life will never be the same again for Thomas and his wife Sarah. Their halcyon daily routines were brought to a rude, abrupt end early this month. Thomas can no longer engage members of his age-set Pachuma in any cultural intercourse. His candidacy for eldership in the Bakusu community has now been permanently revoked, and members of his clan, Bala, will for a long time to come walk dejectedly with bowed heads. Sarah will never again freely socialize with other women and share intimate conversations with them at the marketplace. Her clan, Babuya, has been blamed for what befell her son Simon. The activities of the morning of August 2nd will forever be ingrained in her mind, that of her husband, and in the collective memory of the Bala clan. On this fateful day, the gods conspired to rob her family, whose head, Makusu, once served as a village elder, of the dignity it had accumulated over the years as it reigned over other families in Busiraka village of Bungoma County in western Kenya. Doing the unthinkable, the family's second-born son, Simon, did the abominable. He, out of fear of the circumciser's knife, imbalu, and contrary to the dictates of culture, fidgeted before letting out a loud cry, calling on his parents to rescue him from the intruders who want to mutilate my manhood. The primary school pupil soon found himself on the receiving end of a whirling vortex of crowd anger, and his attempts to dash for freedom were quickly thwarted by the sea of humanity that surrounded him. To the uninitiated, the manner in which he was wrestled to the ground and circumcised was iniquitous. However, to many within the Bamasaba cultural macrocosm, Simon deserved the treatment that was meted upon him. Initiates among Bamasaba are supposed to hanker for the knife and face it nonchalantly. The Bakusu of Kenya and Bagisu of Uganda share a common patriarch, Masaba. They are thus known as Bamasaba, children of Masaba. Among Bamasaba, a circumcision candidate who exhibits signs of cowardice is regarded as an outcast and will forever not fit in the socio-cultural stratum of the society. And for bellowing out his parents' names when faced with the traditional surgeon's knife, Simon caused his parents and clan unfathomed agony. An expensive cleansing ceremony which culminated in the slaughter of a ram was held to purify the circumcisers, whose dignity and trade Simon sullied. Thomas had to sell part of his shamba and sugarcane plantation to get the funds needed in fulfilling this cultural requirement. To compound his misery, his firstborn son is whiling away time in police custody on robbery charges. My wife has now gone into depression, he laments. Many would ask why Simon was forcefully circumcised. In the Bakusu community, the moment a candidate goes through the ritual of Kachukula, which precedes the actual circumcision, his fate is sealed. He must be circumcised. The Kachukula ritual involves ancestors escorting the initiate to the river, where he fetches water under their watch. He then returns home, where he pours the water into a pot whose mouth is tied with wandering dew grass and its belly holding dry liquor pellets. This is a covenant between the candidate and his ancestors that he must face the imbalu. Simon says he resolved to be circumcised this year and graduate into adulthood following the encouragement from his cousin Peter. The two have a lot in common. Their fathers are brothers. They are in the same class in the same school, and they used to take turns looking after the parents' livestock. If Peter went ahead and got circumcised before Simon, the latter's world would have crumbled. Circumcised men do not keep the company of the uncircumcised boys. The two convinced their fathers that they were ready to face the knife. Since Peter and Simon had been very close from their childhood, their parents determined that they should be circumcised on the same day, August 3, 2012, and by the same team of circumcisers. Simon's mother least expected her son to embarrass the entire Bala clan. Signs that he was not ready. That was the last thing on my mind, she said. My firstborn son withstood the cut, and I believed he had set the pace for his younger sibling Simon, a reflective Sarah laments. Thomas says he became jittery when his son failed to exhibit signs of bravery. On the eve of the circumcision day, he says, my son did not look ready. He alerted the circumcisers. And in the morning, an hour before the rite, elders decided to delay the cut by taking a detour with the boys as they came from the river smeared with clay. Songs of encouragement pierced the air. The singing crowd now hoped Simon would gain the necessary courage as they approached Thomas's homestead. They were wrong. Nyongeza Sanino, the lead circumciser, says he knew Simon would cause problems and that his team was well prepared for the resistance the initiate put up. A hopeful Thomas held his son's hand and led him to the Eshangi spot where he would stand to be circumcised. Bakusu and Bagisu initiates are expected to be gutsy. Cases of cowardice are very rare. During the bi-annual circumcision ceremonies held in August of every even year, boys from the two communities aged between 12 and 16 years transcend villages and counties, inviting friends and relatives to witness their transition into adulthood. Simon and Peter jointly visited their relatives' homes, inviting them to grace the ceremony that would turn them into men. Traditionally, among the Bikusu, the resolve of a candidate to become a man by way of the imbalu is put to test by his father, who demands that the son steps on a burning ember as he, the father, takes a lap around their main hut. However, both boys were exempted from this test. This ritual is in reflection of the lap a serpent, Endemu Yabebe, took around a cave at Muyala in Teso sub-county before it was killed by a courageous man called Mango in the 16th century. This serpent, says Mzee Fred Makila, an author and Bikusu elder, was notorious for killing Bikusu herders and their livestock. Mango, who had immigrated with his clan Bakahawa from Mbale in Uganda into Kenya, resolved to eliminate the snake despite repeated warnings from his mother and tribesmen that he shouldn't dare the reptile. A gutless Mango smeared his body with clay to conceal his body odor, armed himself with a sword and crept into the snake's cave. In the evening the serpent arrived. It first went around the cave to ascertain its safety before entering it. And as is normal with snakes, it turned around and put its head at the mouth while the rest of the body remained inside the cave. Mango had strategically placed a log in the entry to the cave, and when the snake rested its head on it, he chopped it off. The head, legend has it, bit a nearby fig tree whose leaves wilted immediately. A bloodied Mango emerged from the cave, and having proven that he was not pusillanimous, he demanded to be circumcised. An Amurva, Sabot, circumciser from the neighboring Mount Elgin, circumcised him. That marked the revival of circumcision rituals among Babakusu, which had stalled due to migrations, wars and natural calamities. Mango_s age set came to be known as Kolingolo, and it gave rise to 7 others: Kinyiku, Kananachi, Kikwameti, Nyange, Mena, Chuma and Sawa. What the rituals are like today. Today Bikusu initiates are smeared with clay just before they face the knife, as Mango did. After being circumcised, they enter their seclusion huts backwards, imitating the serpent, Yabebe_s entry into its cave. The age sets have come full circle. Ironically, Peter shares the age set, Kolingolo, with the legendary Mango. However, he will not be allowed to associate himself with it. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.